Natalie Brooks sat in her cramped studio apartment staring at the stack of unpaid bills on her kitchen counter. At 26 years old, she never imagined her life would look like this. 6 months ago, she had been riding high as co-founder of a promising tech startup. Today, she was just another unemployed millennial watching her dreams crumble alongside her bank account. Her phone buzzed with a text from Lauren, her college best friend. Emergency intervention required. Meet me at Meridian Heights tonight at 8. Or something fabulous. This is not optional, Natalie groaned. The last thing she wanted was to pretend everything was fine at some fancy event. But Lauren had been her rock through everything, never judging. Always believing in her, even when Natalie stopped believing in herself. The man by the window Meridian Heights was exactly as intimidating as Natalie expected. The rooftop venue sparkled with string lights, and the city skyline provided a breathtaking backdrop. Women in designer dresses mingled with men in tailored suits, everyone looking successful and confident. Natalie felt like an imposter in her simple black dress, the only nice thing she owned that still fit properly. Lauren disappeared to grab champagne, leaving Natalie alone near the glass railing. She focused on the view, trying to ignore her anxiety. The sunset is something special from up here. The voice beside her was warm and genuine, without the practiced smoothness she had heard from other men tonight. She turned to find a man standing close, enough to talk, but far enough to be respectful. He was handsome in an understated way. Dark hair with hints of gray at the temples, kind eyes that held intelligence and humor, and a smile that seemed genuinely interested rather than calculated. It really is. Natalie agreed, surprised at how comfortable she felt. I keep thinking about how many people down there are living their whole lives without ever seeing this view. He laughed. A real laugh that reached his eyes. That is exactly the kind of thought I would have. Owen. He extended his hand. Natalie. She shook it. Feeling an unexpected warmth spread through her chest. Conversations that matter, they talked for over an hour. And Natalie forgot about everything else. Owen asked about her passions, her failed startup, her dreams for the future. He listened without interrupting, without offering empty platitudes or unwanted advice. When she asked what he did for work, he simply said he worked in business management and steered the conversation. Back to her, she found herself sharing things she rarely told anyone. The fear that kept her awake at night. The guilt of disappointing her family who had believed in her vision. The crushing weight of wondering if she had what it took to succeed. Failure is not the opposite of success, Owen said quietly. It is part of the journey toward. Every person who has ever built something meaningful has failed multiple times. The only real failure is giving up. Something about the way he said it, with conviction born from experience, made Natalie believe him. Lauren appeared briefly, saw Natalie engaged in deep conversation, gave an enthusiastic thumbs up, and vanished back into the crowd. Your friend seems to approve, Owen noted with amusement. She has been worried about me, Natalie admitted. I have been stuck in my head for months. Then I am grateful she brought you here tonight. The way he looked at her when he said those words made her heart skip. There was something magnetic between them, undeniable and electric. One perfect night as the evening grew later, Owen suggested they leave the crowded event. They walked through the city streets talking and laughing, stopping at a late-night coffee shop where they continued their conversation over cappuccinos and shared pastries. I have not felt this relaxed in months, Natalie confessed. Maybe years? Neither have I, Owen admitted. There is something about you, Natalie Brooks. Something that makes me feel like I can just be myself. They ended up at his apartment. A beautiful space in a historic building with high ceilings and large windows. But Natalie barely noticed the surroundings. She was focused entirely on Owen, on the gentle way he touched her face, on the kiss that started soft and grew passionate. Are you sure about this? He whispered against her lips, giving her every opportunity to change her mind. I have never been more sure of anything. She replied honestly. The morning after that night was everything Natalie had never known she needed. Owen was attentive and tender, passionate yet respectful. They talked between kisses, laughed during quiet moments. and held each other as if they had been doing this for years rather than hours. When Natalie woke as dawn light filtered through the windows, reality crashed down on her. She had spent the night with a man whose last name she did not even know. This was not who she was. She did not do spontaneous. She did not throw caution aside for chemistry and connection. Moving carefully, she gathered her clothes and dressed in the dim light. On his nightstand, she found a notepad and pen. Her hand trembled as she wrote, "Thank you for the most beautiful night. Please understand why I cannot stay. Take care of yourself." She left the note on his pillow and slipped out quietly, tears streaming down her face as she walked away from something that felt more real than anything she had experienced in years. The email that changed everything 2 weeks past in a fog of regret and what-ifs. Natalie threw herself into job applications, trying to forget Owen's laugh, his touch, the way he looked at her like she mattered. Then the email arrived from Paramount Enterprises, one of the largest media and entertainment companies in the country. They wanted to interview her for an executive assistant position. The salary listed made her dizzy. This could solve everything. Friday arrived faster than she was ready for. Natalie, dressed in her Navy interview suit, practiced her answers and tried to calm her racing heart as she entered the Paramount building downtown. The lobby alone was magnificent. All marble and modern art. The receptionist directed her to the top floor. "The CEO personally requested to meet you," she said. "Owen Mitchell does not usually conduct entry-level interviews." Owen Mitchell. The name hit Natalie like a physical blow. It could not be. It could not possibly be the same Owen. But as she was led down the executive hallway and into a spacious corner office, as the man behind the desk looked up from his paperwork, Natalie knew her life was about to get infinitely more complicated. Their eyes met and time stopped. Recognition flashed across his face, followed by surprise and something deeper. Something that looked like relief. "Miss Brooks," Owen said slowly, standing up with that same genuine smile she remembered. "What an unexpected pleasure. Please, have a seat. We have quite a bit to discuss." Natalie stood frozen in the doorway, her heart pounding so hard she thought everyone in the building must hear it. Owen Mitchell. The man she had shared one perfect night with was Owen Mitchell, billionaire CEO, her potential boss, and completely out of her league. "This cannot be happening," she whispered. More to herself than to him, Owen walked around his desk slowly, his expression unreadable. "Yet here we are. Please sit down. We should talk about this professionally." Professionally. Natalie felt a hysterical laugh bubbling up. "There is nothing professional about this situation. I should leave." "You could." Owen leaned against his desk, arms crossed. "Or you could sit down and let me explain why you are here." Something in his tone, calm but firm, made her legs move. She sank into the leather chair across from his desk, gripping her portfolio so tightly her knuckles turned white. Owen returned to his seat, maintaining the desk between them like a barrier. "When you left that morning, I spent days trying to find you. You gave me nothing to go on except your first name. Then, last week, your resume crossed my desk through our normal hiring channels. When I saw your name, your background, I knew it was you. So this interview is what? Some kind of game?" Natalie felt anger rising, defense against the vulnerability threatening to overwhelm her. "This interview is a genuine opportunity." Owen's voice softened. "Your qualifications are excellent, Natalie. Your startup may have failed, but your work was innovative. Your references from your previous positions are outstanding. I need someone brilliant, organized, and unafraid to speak their mind. That night we spent together showed me you were all those things and more." A decision made Natalie closed her eyes, trying to think clearly. She needed this job desperately. The salary alone would change her life. But working with Owen every day, pretending that night meant nothing. Could she survive that? "What exactly are you offering?" she asked carefully. Owen pulled out a folder and slid it across the desk. A formal contract. Executive assistant position with full benefits. Competitive salary is listed and opportunity for advancement. Your role would involve managing my schedule, coordinating with department heads, handling confidential matters, and essentially keeping my professional life running smoothly. Natalie opened the folder. The salary figure made her breath catch. It was more than she had made at her startup, enough to rebuild her life completely. And what happened between us? She forced herself to ask. What happened between us was two adults connecting before we knew our professional paths would cross. Owen met her eyes steadily. I will not pretend it did not happen. I will not pretend it did not matter to me. But I promise you, if you take this job, I will never use that night against you. Your employment here will be based solely on your performance and abilities. Can you really separate those things? Natalie challenged. Can I? We can try. If at any point you feel uncomfortable or want to leave, I will provide excellent references and help you find another position. No questions asked, no hard feelings. But I think we are both professional enough to make this work. Natalie looked at the contract again, then at Owen. Despite everything, she believed him. More than that, she needed to believe in herself. She had run away once. Maybe it was time to stop running. When do I start? She asked quietly. Owen's smile was genuine and relieved. Monday morning, 8:30 sharp. The first week Monday arrived with a mix of excitement and terror. Natalie dressed conservatively in a charcoal gray suit, her hair pulled into a sleek bun, minimal jewelry. She wanted to look capable and professional, nothing like the woman who had worn that black dress 2 weeks ago, Patricia Chen. The outgoing assistant spent the morning training her. Owen likes everything organized by priority, color-coded in his digital calendar. Red for urgent, blue for important meetings, green for flexible appointments. He drinks black coffee at 9 and 3. He hates small talk before 10 in the morning, but appreciates efficiency. Natalie took careful notes, grateful for the distraction. Her desk sat directly outside Owen's office, positioned so she could see everyone who approached. Throughout the day, executives stopped by, introducing themselves, sizing her up with curious glances. Everyone seemed professional but watchful, as if wondering how long she would last. Owen himself was perfectly professional. He greeted her warmly but appropriately each morning, communicated about tasks via email and brief conversations, never lingering, never crossing boundaries. It should have been a relief. Instead, Natalie found herself remembering every moment of their night together during quiet moments. Victoria makes her entrance on Wednesday. Natalie was organizing files when a woman strode past her desk without knocking and entered Owen's office. She was stunning, tall, and elegant, in a designer suit with glossy dark hair and the confidence of someone who belonged everywhere through the open door. Natalie heard Owen's surprised voice. Victoria, we have a meeting scheduled for this afternoon. I wanted to catch you before you got too busy. The woman's voice was smooth and possessive. Besides, since when do I need an appointment? Since I hired an assistant to manage my time properly. Owen's tone was polite but firm. Natalie, could you come in, please? Natalie grabbed her tablet and entered the office. Victoria turned to look at her. Natalie felt the temperature drop several degrees. Victoria Lang, meet Natalie Brooks, my new executive assistant. Owen gestured between them. Natalie, Victoria is our Director of Business Development. How nice. Victoria's smile did not reach her eyes. Owen goes through assistants so quickly. I hope you last longer than the previous ones. Natalie felt the dig, but kept her expression neutral. I plan to. Is there something I can help you with? Owen actually needs someone competent for once. Victoria turned back to Owen, dismissing Natalie entirely. Darling, we need to discuss the Singapore deal. Perhaps over dinner tonight? I have a working dinner with the legal team tonight. Owen's tone was professional. Schedule a meeting with Natalie for tomorrow. We can review the Singapore proposal then. Warnings and realizations after Victoria left. Looking displeased, Patricia pulled Natalie aside during lunch. I should have warned you more clearly about Victoria. She and Owen dated for 8 months last year. She thought they were heading toward marriage. He ended things because he said they wanted different futures. She has been trying to win him back ever since. Does she know about Natalie? Could not finish the sentence. About you too? Patricia raised an eyebrow. I suspected something the first day from how carefully Owen was being professional with you. Victoria does not know specifics, but she sees you as competition. Be careful. She can be ruthless when she feels threatened. There's nothing between Owen and me now, Natalie said firmly. We are just colleagues. Patricia gave her a knowing look. Keep telling yourself that. Late nights and growing tension by Friday, Natalie had settled into a rhythm. She was good at this job, anticipating Owen's needs, solving problems before they became urgent, managing the constant flow of people and information. Owen noticed mentioning her excellent work during their morning briefing. That evening, most of the office had cleared out when Owen buzzed her desk. Natalie, could you stay a bit late? I need help preparing for Monday's board presentation, of course. She gathered her notes and entered his office. They worked side by side for 2 hours, reviewing slides, refining talking points, debating strategy. It felt natural, easy, like that night at the event when they had talked for hours. Several times their hands brushed, reaching for the same document. Each touch sent electricity through Natalie's body. You are incredibly talented at this, Owen said as they finished. I made the right decision hiring you, even with the complications. The words slipped out before Natalie could stop them. Owen set down his pen and looked at her directly. Especially with the complications. Because it means I get to see you every day, even if I have to maintain this professional distance that is slowly driving me insane. Natalie's breath caught. Owen, we cannot. I know. His voice was rough. I promised you professional boundaries, and I will keep that promise. But I will not pretend this is easy. Being near you, remembering everything, wanting things I have no right to want anymore. I think about that night constantly. Natalie admitted, her voice barely a whisper. Every time you walk past my desk, every time we work together like this. They stared at each other across the desk, the air thick with unspoken desires and impossible complications. We should go home, Owen finally said. Before we do something we might regret, or something we might not regret at all, Natalie thought as she gathered her things. That was what scared her most. Weekend reflections Saturday morning, Natalie met Lauren for brunch and told her everything. Lauren listened without interrupting, her eyes growing wider with each revelation. So let me understand this, Lauren said slowly. You had an amazing one-night stand with a mystery man. You ran away. Then discovered he is a billionaire CEO who gave you a job. And now you are both pretending you are not completely into each other while working together every day. That about covers it. Natalie stabbed at her omelet. This is either the most romantic thing ever or a complete disaster waiting to happen. I vote disaster. Victoria already hates me. The other executives are watching to see if I fail. And Owen, she paused. Every time he looks at me, I remember everything. How can I work like this? The question is, do you want to work like this, or do you want something more? Natalie thought about Owen's words from last night, about the careful way he maintained distance, while his eyes told a different story, about how right it felt to work beside him, to understand his thoughts before he spoke them. I do not know what I want anymore, she admitted, except that I cannot afford to lose this job. It is my chance to rebuild everything. Maybe, Lauren said gently. Or maybe it is your chance at something even better than rebuilding. Maybe it is your chance at something completely new. Monday. Morning started like any other week until Owen called an emergency meeting at 9. His expression was serious as department heads filed into the conference room. Natalie sat in the corner, taking notes as he explained the situation. Our biggest client, Riverside Entertainment, is threatening to pull their contract. They claim we failed to meet delivery deadlines on the quarterly campaign. If we lose them, we lose $12 million in annual revenue, and our reputation takes a massive hit. The room erupted in defensive explanations. Marketing blamed production. Production blamed unrealistic timelines. Victoria suggested they offer Riverside a discount and move on. Owen held up his hand for silence. We have until Friday to present a recovery plan that satisfies them, or they walk. I need everyone working on solutions. Natalie, clear my schedule for the week. We are going into crisis mode. The next 3 days were intense. Owen worked 18-hour days, and Natalie matched him hour for hour. She coordinated between departments, managed information flow, and kept Owen focused when frustration threatened to overwhelm him. They ordered dinner to the office, worked through ideas on the whiteboard, and slowly built a comprehensive recovery strategy. Wednesday night, around 11, they finally stopped for a break. Owen leaned back in his chair, exhaustion evident in every line of his body. "I could not do this without you," he said quietly. "You have been amazing through all of this." Natalie handed him a fresh coffee. "This is what you hired me for. Besides, I understand what it feels like when everything you built feels like it might collapse." Owen studied her face. "Your startup. You never told me the full story." Sharing the past, Natalie settled into the chair across from him. "We developed an app connecting local artists with venues and buyers. It was innovative, exciting, everything I dreamed about. We had initial funding, great press, real momentum. What happened? My business partner, someone I trusted completely, made financial decisions without telling me. Risky investments that failed. By the time I discovered the truth, we were buried in debt. Investors pulled out. We had to dissolve everything." Owen's expression softened with understanding. "You blamed yourself. I was co-founder. How could I not see what was happening?" Natalie felt the old shame rising. "I should have been more vigilant, asked more questions. Instead, I trusted blindly and lost everything. Not just money, but my reputation, my confidence, my sense of who I was. Trust is not weakness, Natalie." Owen leaned forward. "What happened was not your failure. It was someone else's betrayal. The fact that you are here now, rebuilding, that takes more courage than never failing in the first place." Something about his words, the conviction in his voice, broke through walls Natalie had been maintaining for months. Tears spilled down her cheeks before she could stop them. Owen moved around the desk immediately, kneeling beside her chair. "Hey, it is okay. You are allowed to feel this." "I have been so scared," she whispered. "Scared of failing again, scared of trusting again, scared of wanting things I might lose. Like what?" His voice was gentle like this. "Like you." Natalie met his eyes. "That night we shared felt too perfect, too good to be real. So I ran because I thought it was easier to leave first than to stay and watch it fall apart." The truth. Finally spoken, Owen took her hands in his. "When I woke up and you were gone, when I read that note asking me not to look for you, it felt like someone had punched a hole through my chest. I had spent one night with you and somehow knew I wanted 1,000 more. Then why did you hire me?" Natalie asked. "Why put us both through this torture of pretending? Because even if I could not have you the way I wanted, I could not let you disappear from my life completely." Owen's thumb traced circles on her palm. "These past weeks, watching you work, seeing your brilliant mind in action, getting to know you beyond that one night, I have only become more certain. You are extraordinary, Natalie Brooks." "I am a mess," she protested weakly. "You are human. You have faced challenges and setbacks, and you keep fighting. That is not being a mess. That is being strong." Natalie looked at their joined hands. "What are we doing, Owen?" "This is complicated. Victoria already suspects something. If anyone finds out about our history, about how I got this job, it could destroy both our reputations." "I know." Owen's voice was heavy. "I have been trying to do the right thing, maintaining boundaries, keeping distance. But Natalie, I cannot stop thinking about you." "I do not want to." "Neither do I," she admitted. "But I cannot afford to lose this job. I need to rebuild my life, prove I can succeed. Then we figure this out together." Owen stood, pulling her up with him. "We keep things professional at work. We prove to everyone, including ourselves, that you earned this position through merit. And after hours, away from this office, we see where this goes. No pressure, no rushing, just honest exploration of what we could be." Victoria's last move Thursday afternoon. As the team finalized their presentation for Riverside, Victoria appeared at Natalie's desk with a satisfied smile. "I need to speak with Owen. It is urgent. He is in final prep for tomorrow's meeting. Can it wait?" "No, it cannot." Victoria pushed past her into Owen's office. Natalie followed, her instincts screaming warning. Owen looked up, irritation flashing across his face. Victoria, we discussed scheduling. This is more important. Victoria held up her phone. I just received an interesting email. Someone sent me photos from the networking event 3 weeks ago. You remember that event, do you not, Owen? The one where you met someone special. Natalie's blood turned cold. Victoria swiped through her phone, landing on a photo that showed Owen and Natalie standing close together by the windows. The intimacy between them obvious even in a photograph. How fascinating that your new assistant was at the same event. Victoria's voice was poisonous. In fact, according to the timestamps, you two left within minutes of each other. Makes one wonder about the real qualifications for her position. Get out, Owen said coldly. Excuse me? Owen stood, his voice hard as steel. I said, get out of my office. And tomorrow morning, plan to meet with HR. We will be discussing your future with this company. Assuming you have one, after attempting to blackmail me, I am not blackmailing anyone. Victoria's confidence wavered. I am simply pointing out inappropriate behavior. Standing together what I do outside this office is none of your concern. Owen moved to stand beside Natalie. Yes, I met Natalie at that event. Yes, we connected. We are both single adults. When I saw her resume weeks later, I recognized her talent and qualifications. She has proven herself exceptional at this job through her work, not through any personal relationship. If you have evidence of actual workplace misconduct, present it. Otherwise, take your jealousy and your manipulative tactics elsewhere. Victoria looked between them, realizing she had miscalculated. You are making a mistake. She will hurt your reputation. The only person hurting reputations here is you. Owen's tone left no room for argument. Leave. Now. After Victoria stormed out, Natalie sank into a chair. This is exactly what I was afraid of. Now everyone will think I slept my way into this job. Owen knelt in front of her. Then we prove them wrong. Tomorrow, we save the Riverside account with the brilliant strategy you helped develop. We show everyone that you are here because you are talented, not because of anything else. And if people talk, let them talk. I know the truth. You know the truth. That is what matters. What about Victoria? She could spread this around the whole company, Victoria. She has committed a serious offense by trying to use personal information to manipulate workplace decisions. HR will handle it appropriately. Owen took Natalie's hands. I should have been more careful at that event. I never thought someone would use our personal connection against you. You could not have known. Natalie squeezed his hands. But Owen, maybe we should wait. Let me prove myself here first before we try to be anything more, Owen said softly. Maybe we stop letting fear make our decisions. I am not asking you to announce anything. I am just asking you to stop running. The presentation that changed everything Friday morning arrived with tension thick enough to cut. The Riverside Entertainment executives sat in the conference room, expressions skeptical. Owen presented their recovery plan with confidence, but Natalie could see the stress in the tight set of his shoulders. When he finished, the CEO of Riverside leaned back. This is comprehensive, but how do we know you can deliver? You failed us once already? Owen glanced at Natalie, who nodded encouragingly. Then she stood, surprising everyone, including Owen. May I address that? She asked Owen, who gestured for her to continue. Natalie approached the presentation screen. I am Natalie Brooks, executive assistant to Owen Mitchell. Before this position, I co-founded a startup that ultimately failed due to circumstances beyond my control. I understand what it feels like to lose trust, to question whether someone can deliver on promises. She pulled up additional slides she had prepared secretly that morning. What Owen is too modest to tell you is that the original delays happened because 3 key team members left unexpectedly due to family emergencies. Rather than compromise quality by rushing with an incomplete team, he made the difficult decision to delay. Here is the original timeline. Here is what actually happened. And here is our new plan with buffer time built in and backup resources identified. She spent 20 minutes walking through details, answering questions, demonstrating the depth of preparation. When she finished, The Riverside CEO was nodding thoughtfully. Miss Brooks, you clearly know your material. Where were you during the original project? I was unemployed, sir. Owen hired me 3 weeks ago, but I have spent every day since learning this company inside and out because that is what good work requires. The Riverside CEO looked at Owen. You have good people, Mitchell. People who care about getting things right. That matters to me. We will give you another chance, but Miss Brooks here will be our point of contact. She clearly understands accountability, new beginnings, that evening. After the contracts were signed and the team celebrated, Owen found Natalie alone in the office. She was packing up her things, exhausted but satisfied. You saved the account today, he said from the doorway. We saved it together. Natalie smiled at him. That is how good partnerships work? Is that what we are? Partners? Professionally. Absolutely. Personally, she walked over to him, her heart pounding, but her decision made. I would like to find out. If the offer still stands, Owen's smile was brilliant and relieved. It stands. It will always stand. But Natalie, we do this right. Slow, honest, building something real. I do not know how to do that, she admitted. I do not know how to trust this without waiting for it to fall apart. Then we learn together. Owen cupped her face gently. I am not going anywhere. Take all the time you need to believe that. Natalie leaned into his touch. I want to try. I want to stop running and start building something beautiful. We already are, Owen whispered before kissing her softly. This is just the beginning. 6 months later, the company gala was in full swing. Natalie wore a stunning emerald dress, her confidence evident in every step. She had proven herself over and over, earning respect throughout the company. Victoria had left months ago. Finding a position elsewhere after her HR review, Owen found Natalie by the same windows, where they had first met all those months ago. Different venue, same view, he noted, slipping his arm around her waist. Same person beside me, she replied, leaning into him. That is what matters. The company knows about us now, Owen said. After tonight, it will be completely public. Are you ready for that? Natalie thought about everything they had been through. The fear, the complications, the choice to trust despite past pain. She thought about how Owen had supported her through every challenge, how they had built something genuine and strong together. I am ready for anything as long as we face it together. Owen pulled a small box from his pocket. Then maybe you are ready for this too. Natalie's breath caught as he opened it to reveal a simple, elegant ring. This is not about pressure or rushing. This is me telling you that I see a future with you, Natalie Brooks. Whenever you are ready, however long it takes, I will be here waiting. Because you are worth waiting for. Tears streamed down Natalie's face as she nodded. Yes, I am ready now. I choose this. I choose you. I choose to stop being afraid and start believing in the beautiful things we can build together. As Owen slipped the ring on her finger and kissed her deeply, Natalie realized something profound. Sometimes the scariest risks lead to the most beautiful rewards. Sometimes running away means missing out on everything you truly need. And sometimes love finds you in the most unexpected places, giving you not just a second chance, but a whole new beginning. Their story was just getting started. And for the first time in years, Natalie could not wait to see what came next. The end.